Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 228, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Hey, it's July 30th. It's the end of July.
It's incredible.
I feel like I fell asleep mid-June, and it's in a somnambulant state. We recorded several episodes, but I remember none of them.
You know what? That's part of it, I think, because we banked so many episodes to accommodate my road trip. And yeah, time has gotten really loosey-goosey in my brain right now.
Here we are, though.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, too. My parents are out here visiting. And we were trying to figure out why. Oh, we were going to try to go to Catalina for the day, and all the tickets in the next week were sold out. And I was like, what? And then I had to ask, I was like, wait, is it summer? I was like, wow. Like, that would be so depressing for a kid to be in the room and be like, is that going to happen to me?
And it will.
Yeah, it will.
That's just what it is, yeah.
Yeah. But it's, August. I don't know. I sort of feel like I'm still at the beginning of July while simultaneously feeling like I'm halfway through August, if that makes any sense.
It's a very bizarre time warp we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
My older two kids are away camping.
Oh, okay.
So they've been gone for about a week. They come back tomorrow. So I've had no contact. I don't know what's going on. To the best of my knowledge, they're all hunting boars with the spears that they've
fashioned.
Yeah. Some kid's been designated piggy and is probably in a cave somewhere. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm excited to see how they figured all that out.
That'd be funny. They both come back, like, because they're both preteens, right? Or one of them's like early teenagers, but they both come back with like full beards, and they're like, "Hello, father." Yeah. Like they've been through some transformative experience out in the woods.
My oldest, he's at that stage now where his voice is like mid change.
Really?
So he's in like full on Peter Brady. I think it's Peter Brady, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Because they were recording a song, right? But his is cracking. Yeah.
Yes. So, and I'm like, hey, we all get to pass through that particular gauntlet. So,
I don't remember that so well. I thought you were going to say something based on the beards about like some chin pubes coming in or something. Because I definitely remember that because it was in the 90s. So I really badly wanted a goatee.
Okay.
Because that was like the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I went on a trip to visit my grandparents and I thought I had grown a goatee.
That's funny.
And my dad being like, so are you going to shave that thing? Or and I remember having to go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and face some hard questions.
Yeah. I spent the latter part of the 90s trying to grow a beard.
Okay, yeah.
I had like a soul patch.
Sure.
For a while. Maybe like when we first met, I had a soul patch.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. It's sort of goatee-ish.
Goat-esque?
Yeah, right.
Goatee, if you will.
Yeah, goatee.
Now after the pandemic, I'm like Gandalf at this point.
I saw that picture you posted of you and your two boys at the movies.
Yeah.
And I haven't like actually seen you in a while. And I was like, whoa, that is a killer beard.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy at this point. Like, what I've realized is I like doing the thing where I can like stroke my beard in pensive fashion.
Anytime your kids request something.
Yeah, exactly. I stare off into the distance and stroke my beard.
That's hilarious.
I've grown accustomed to that. So
yeah,
it may be a moment.
Yeah, you got to hang on to that.
But that's me. That's me and my beard.
Yeah. I'd say me and my beard are doing well over here. Settling in, still, the apartment's still finding itself, which is kind of fun,
Are you still recording in your closet?
I am. Okay, so here's the thing. This place is awesome, but it has hardwood floors in every single room, and high ceilings, basically.
Okay.
And so each room is kind of cavernous. And as we are slowly filling it with furniture, it's still like, this might be like kind of like weird. So yeah, I'm in this closet, which also I've noticed gives it kind of a pinched sound. It's just very closed in and whatnot. So eventually we'll get to that perfect place, and I'll sound back to normal. But
well, fingers crossed.
yeah.
What have you had a chance to catch anything new or interesting that?
I've been a lot of old stuff basically. But first, I'll start off non-movie related. But I read the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, so it is movie related.
Oh, it is movie related. Yeah, not viewing, I guess, but reading. Brian's storybook corner.
I don't know what kind of
segment.
What you're trying to do to this show, bringing books and shit into this.
I know. Yeah, no, I'd been long looking forward to this because, as I've said, I love Quentin Tarantino. I'm not like a Tarantino apologist or anything. Like I would, but I always find his work interesting, and I'm always going to show up for what he does.
At this point, I wish Quentin would stop talking about Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he needs to let that rest. I wholeheartedly agree. And it's interesting. I mean, going back to this world in this book, I mean, it's one of those things where when I heard that he was going to write a book, I was just like, yeah, I mean, you go to his movies to listen to them, right? I mean, the dialogue is just so enveloping and almost poetic sometimes. And I just wanted to know what a book from Quentin Tarantino would be like. And then when it was, he's going to write a novelization of a movie you've already seen, I was like, oh, but it's, I loved it. It's 400 pages long. And I would say if you're not a fan of the movie, you're probably not going to find a lot here for you. But if you liked the movie all the way over to if you loved the movie, which as listeners have heard, I mean, I really connected with it in a personal level, just with the whole Hollywood angle and working out here and connecting with the neuroses of Rick Dalton in some ways. I just absolutely loved it. And what's cool is it isn't like he just took the script and then wrote it out in novel form. I mean, there's a lot of scenes between the scenes in here.
Sure.
Which I really appreciated. I mean, it would basically the whole climax of that movie, which I don't think is a spoiler to say anymore, is, Rick Dalton, fictional character, stepping in and stopping these Manson murders, right? And like he accidentally intervenes and ends up killing these people who in real life would become killers. And that is only referenced about a quarter into the book. And it's really like, there was this one night these hippies tried to break into his house and then he thwarted it. And then it just talks about the aftermath. Like, and then he went on the Tonight Show again and everybody found him interesting. And so I kind of like that it felt more like a supplement to the movie than just a reinterpretation of the movie.
Right.
And there was actually even moments I just, like I've said, I mean, I just love this Rick character so much. There's a lot more scenes between him and that young child actress from the Western.
Right.
And I gotta admit, even the last chapter is them on the phone, and there's a picture on the poster of the movie where she's in her pajamas on the phone, and that scene is the last part of the book, and I put a little tear to my eye. Actually, it was very sweet, and I thought it gave a nice ending, a happy ending to the Rick Dalton character that I personally very much enjoyed. So. But also, again, little, as you say, with the Bruce Lee thing, I mean, there's a lot of machismo, throughout the book, not just in the characters, but also in sometimes the narrator, just saying things that you probably wouldn't say these days and feel too good about yourself. So
okay.
it keeps in tone with probably the way those people did talk back then and acted, and inappropriately so, but it is in there. So I raised that warning. But, I found the captivating characters to be even more captivating, spending more time with them. So I would say ultimately that was I was sad when I came to the last page and put it down, but I'm happy I enjoyed it. So
thumbs up for the book?
Thumbs up from me.
Nice.
Also, I revisited 2 older movies. We've talked about this already, but I rewatched Hook with my little movie club that we do virtually on Sunday nights.
Okay.
And I know I've heard on other podcasts, I've heard you say this, that movie came out, I think, when I was 11, and I remember really liking it. And most people our age have this thing where they're like, oh, I love that movie. And then I revisited it, and yeah, it didn't really hold up for me. So I was like, oh no, I was like kind of nervous, but I was excited.
I expect it held up for you probably, right?
I'm sorry?
It probably held up for you, right?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. So I went into it and I was like, I would be curious to hear the specifics of why people felt like it didn't hold up, because I really enjoyed it. I would say that I still like the movie Hook. But I also did recognize that it's a very busy movie. Like,
yeah,
right. Like there's a lot going on. It's very frantic, like the kids, like there's the whole scene when he arrives and the kids are kind of taunting him and giving him a hard time. And it's impressive visually, but it goes on, it drags a little bit and becomes just more like, look at this huge set we built, and all the acrobatics these kids are doing, and just, I don't know. So I can appreciate that makes it sag a little bit occasionally in places, but at the same time, I couldn't help but be like, dang, look at that set they built. Like I did still find it visually captivating. And maybe even more so now than I would have then, because I'm so used to computers filling in the backgrounds. But when you look at this and you're like, holy crap, look at all this stuff they built, I think the movie wallows in it a little bit, or is very proud to linger on that stuff. But I also thought it was pretty cool to look at. And I still found the actual story of, this dad who's grown up and isn't a great dad, and, reaching out to his kids again and winning them over and fighting for them. And I still found it emotionally resonant. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think it has an amazing score. But of course, I mean, that goes without saying almost.
Mm-hmm.
I love, obviously, Robin Williams. I think it's one of Robin Williams' best performances.
I agree.
And I think for me, if there's a flaw, I think it's 2 hours and 24 minutes, which I just don't think it needs to be that long.
I agree. I agree with that.
And I feel like there's things you could have very easily cut out and I think made the movie stronger. But, certainly having watched it with my kids, I know they enjoy it quite a bit, which ultimately is the most important thing for me.
Mm. Like the Tinkerbell stuff. I think when you hire this A-list actress who's, right off of Pretty Woman, right? I mean, she's super hot at the time, and you don't just hire Julia Roberts and make her Tinkerbell and give her one scene, right? So she has a scene where she gets big, and you're like, there's some things that could be easily excised, but I enjoyed it, and I would be happy to show it to my kids someday, and imagine they would probably like it. But so I get it. But I did find myself enjoying it. And maybe it's because I went in thinking oh no, I'm not going to enjoy it now. I've grown up,
I listen to that soundtrack all the time.
Oh, that score is just so good. I mean, that, if I remember correctly, that theme was used in a lot of trailers for years to come. Yep. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect swashbuckle adventure theme.
It's funny too, because I talked to people who were a certain age when it came out, and they'll be like, this is on Twitter, I dare you not to cry when you think of Rufio dying. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's sad, but it's not,
No, I mean, I didn't tear up or anything, but I will say when he shows up, I was like, oh, heck yeah, Rufio.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why am I feeling that way? I was just like, that's so interesting. I actually marveled at the fact that they invented this character that all these years later, I'm like, yeah, that guy's awesome. Yeah. But, yeah. So anyway, well, okay. So I got two more, and then I went back in time one more time. So this was kind of
you're like delving into your own childhood.
Yes. Okay. So this was interesting because, as I mentioned my fiance a lot, and I'm going to mention her so much that we're going to start having to call her by name, because she and I are both like, every time I say fiance on the podcast, she was even like, I'm rolling my eyes. So, her name is Federica, and Federica had never seen the movie Flight of the Navigator. And this was back when she was in New York before we went cross country. And
Which,
so
Brian, I love how you're saying that as if it's can you believe?
no, well, I was just going to say.
I was like, I think most people have not seen Flight of the Navigator, Brian.
I was just going to say, because it's one of those things that this was a seminal movie of my childhood.
Yes.
But it's more a surprise when you find someone else who's seen it. Somehow
yes.
It didn't stay in the zeitgeist.
It really didn't.
Like, I don't know how I came across it, if I'm being honest. I don't recall if it was in theaters or VHS or TV or whatever. But she knew that I loved it, so she just wanted to watch it one night. And then she told me, like, I love this. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. She's like, no, like, I love this. And she just really connected with the story of it. And which, I guess I probably should explain, because as you're saying, many people probably haven't seen it. It's a genius premise. It's basically 1978, and you have this boy, and he's with his family. He has an annoying younger brother. 4th of July, and one night his parents are like, okay, you've got to go find your younger brother, bring him back home. So he goes, crosses some train tracks, falls down a cliff, gets knocked out, wakes up, can't find his brother, goes back to the house, and it's 1986. And he hasn't aged a day. His parents have aged. His younger brother is now his older brother. And everyone's like, what's going on? So he goes to NASA to be experimented on to try to figure out what's the deal. But simultaneously, in 1986, the NASA has found this downed UFO. And so they bring it into this warehouse, but now the boy and the UFO are sort of connecting or speaking to each other mentally. Anyway, it goes from there, and it's like this adventure of a boy and his UFO. But Federico was really resonating with almost the horror of the scenario of these parents. You know, she kept saying, like, this is a drama. Like, this is so, and it's funny because now, being older, you can be like, oh, what a nightmare for these parents. Because to me, I was just like, he gets to ride a spaceship. But so anyway, while we were back out here, we were looking for something. We were really tired, just something to kind of half watch and fall asleep on the couch too. And she's like, I kind of want to watch it again, Fly the Navigator.
Really?
Yeah. So I hadn't seen it, I mean, at least in a decade, I think, probably more. And man, they just don't make them like this anymore, man. Like, it's just so charming and like cute, and it is kind of a crazy premise. And I think the movie then loses its sort of plot. Like, once he's in the ship, there really isn't much of a plot. But it's just, it survives on just being fun, right? Of this boy talking with the ship and getting his way across America to get back home and whatnot. But I couldn't believe that it connected with someone who'd never seen it. And it's, 30 some years old now, and it still works. So, and I really enjoyed revisiting it too. So it's on Disney Plus, which is interesting because I guess originally when it was being made, it was not a Disney movie, but Disney picked it up.
Right, exactly. But I mean, it was released as a Disney movie.
It was released as a Disney movie, correct?
Right. Yeah.
But that was a really fun one to go back and revisit. But catching up to 2021, I really wanted to see Old. I want to throw out there the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, but I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy. I will see that and talk about it at some point. Are you planning on seeing that?
I was waiting to hear what you had to say, to be honest.
About Old?
Yeah, before I decided to pull the trigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just ready to. I love his visuals. I'm just ready to watch another one of his movies. We'll see if the story's any good. But anyway, on a random night, a friend of mine reached out who I had not seen, I think, since the pandemic started. And she was like, do you and Federico want to go see this movie Pig, the Nicolas Cage movie? And I knew that it existed. I knew people were sort of raving about it. But if I'm being entirely honest, just with what Nicolas Cage has been doing these past several years, I've started to sort of tune it out. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, he's just sort of appearing in all sorts of wacky things, and I don't feel like separating the wheat from the chaff. So this was more of an opportunity to go see my friend again. And so Federica and I joined her, and but then we looked up, it has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. everybody's freaking out about this Nicolas Cage performance. So I was like, oh, dang. Like, I don't even know what this is about. Do you know what this movie's about?
Not a thing. I want to go in completely cold.
Oh, okay. Do you not want me to say then? I was going to read the IMDb summary.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about it. Yeah, I've actually read nothing about it except that it's a movie called Pig starring Nicolas Cage and it's good. So
Okay, Okay. I think actually that's not a bad way to go in, to be honest. So I will say this. I was a little concerned that it was going to be really like gory because he's been on this like gory kick lately. And it is not.
Okay.
It's not a horror movie. It's oh man, how do I talk about this? I left. I think we all left thinking that was good, but I am not sure I'm entirely on the same page as everyone who's falling over it. But I absolutely understand. When I went and looked at some of the reviews, most of it is celebrating Nicolas Cage. And I do agree with that. Like, I think the thing is he's been doing that. He's been going more and more gonzo lately. And I think this is him letting his caginess be under the surface of a more subdued person. So that makes them inherently captivating and interesting and intriguing and mysterious. And it's sort of like, oh, he's proving he could still win an Oscar if he wanted to. You know, and I think the story is very interesting. I think it loses a little bit of momentum along the way. But ultimately, I'm going to save a lot of my more detailed thoughts, I think, until you see it, so we can talk about it that way.
Okay.
But it's a journey. It's a journey. Like you're almost Wizard of Oz, like, if that makes any sense. But in the real world, and just the people that he encounters and the mission that he's on. And it becomes almost fable-like. And I think it threw me for a loop because I wasn't quite prepared for that. But I said when it was over, either that was a pretty good movie or this is a brilliant debut from a first-time filmmaker. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, it's a first-time filmmaker. So I was like, okay, so this is a person who's bursting with ideas, put them all out there, and I think whatever else they put out will be interesting to check out.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that.
I think it's a good place to leave it. All right, well, here's a couple things I've seen, Brian.
All right.
So I saw The Frighteners.
Yeah.
While we delve into the recesses of yesteryear.
with the boys?
I saw it, yeah, with my older ones. I mean, this one is rated R, but it's more for sort of comedic gore.
I was going to ask. My memory is a little fuzzy on it. I wasn't sure how intense it was.
I mean, I think it's fine, Yeah. It's, so for those of you who don't know, I mean, this is directed by Peter Jackson. It's kind of Peter Jackson's first big Hollywood movie.
Right.
And it also happens to be Michael J. Fox's last big starring vehicle.
Yeah.
So weird quintessence of sort of generational overlap happening there.
Mm-hmm. What year was that, by the way?
This is 1996.
96.
And
wow.
Is produced by Robert Zemeckis.
That makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah. And so
his Tales from the Cryptiness.
Yeah, right. Good call. Yeah, I mean more high comedy than Tales from the Crypt, but yeah, very much so. The premise. It's sort of Ghostbusters-esque in that it creates a supernatural world that has stakes in it,
right?
And it's real, but it's funny. Michael J. Fox plays a supernatural, an exorcist, basically, who sees the ghosts in the spirit world, and so he's basically got a scam where he's friends with a couple ghosts, and he has them haunt people, who then call him to get rid of them.
Right.
It's a pretty great premise for a movie.
Yeah, totally.
So this is one I know for many people it's very beloved, and for me it's just not a movie I was particularly familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it when it first came out, and it was fun to watch it with the kids. And I mean, for me, it's really it felt like this kind of like lost Michael J. Fox movie.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I mean, you remember all over again, like why this guy was such a star at his peak,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would highly recommend it. Great performances, obviously from him. And you got, Shy McBride is one of the ghosts. And, who else is in there?
Jake Busey's in it, right? Kind of a scary.
Yeah, that's right. Jake
ghost.
Busey is like the villain, and it's very funny because I remember when the Lord of the Rings was first announced, and it's this big, expansive 3-film thing, and the whole the way in which they hyped it up, and they're like, and Peter Jackson. I was like, the Frighteners guy,
right?
Yeah, very very funny, and so it obviously it worked out okay for Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
The plan originally was that this was going to be a Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they decided to just make, because remember Tales from the Crypt was doing those movies?
Yeah.
So I think this was going to be one of those.
I see. Like Tales from the Crypt presents.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't do that because I almost feel like that would have soiled it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not that the movie, it didn't do particularly well. Anyway.
Right, but it would have felt more like an expanded episode of television.
Yes.
And not even that the movie would have been that, but it just would have appeared that way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So for those of you who may have heard of it or maybe not have heard of it, I think this is a good, it's a good Friday night in kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Oh, some more recent stuff. So I just watched this last night, and this was at the suggestion of Marshall Perry, who emailed me on Twitter to suggest it. Woodstock '99. There's a documentary on HBO Max.
Yep.
So
I just wrote this down on my list. I just learned of it yesterday.
Yeah, it's funny because as soon as it ended, I was gonna text you like, "Hey, you should check this out."
Yeah.
So it's called Woodstock '99: Peace, Love, and Rage, and it's part of a new series on HBO Max called Music Box.
Mm-hmm.
That's created by Bill Simmons.
Okay.
So kind of meant to be sort of for music, what like 30 for 30 is,
That's, gosh, 30 right? For 30 is so great. That sounds so enticing.
So this is a documentary about the Woodstock '99 Music Festival, which
or catastrophe, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that I knew of it. I mean, how could you and I were like the target demo,
late teens, yeah.
So I certainly I was aware of it, but I don't think I realized. Or maybe I just sort of subsumed it into my sort of the ephemera of my consciousness. What a catastrophe it was.
Yeah, I like in my mind, and I'm not trying to be funny, but like I actually picture crowds in flames.
That you're not wrong. I mean, if that's your recollection, it's pretty much on point.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, I was like, oh, this will be kind of like another Fire Festival type thing.
Oh, I see.
Where you sort of watch it and you laugh at these idiots and how they kind of, just a bunch of chowderheads who got themselves into trouble, right? And there is that. But what fascinated me more is how it takes a turn into almost like a horror movie.
Right.
Because when you see, it's very, the early parts of it, it's like, people talking about, oh yeah, we got there and they didn't have any of this and there was that, the plumbing was that and it was bad and it's actually very funny because they're like, and this was it and the sump pump backed up and the porta potties were just leaking shit and everybody was just rolling around in poo and people was mad and this and that and then Limp Bizkit started playing, like that's like, and I'm like, yes, that is worse than. The way they talk about it is very funny, but it's really kind of this fascinating car wreck of a thing because I'm watching it with my wife, and now I'm self-conscious about the fact that I never referred to her by her name.
That's funny.
But we were watching it last night, and we're about the same age, so we're like, we remember it, and I'm like, did you want to be at this thing? And she's
Right.
like, no, and I'm like, back in '99, whatever. Like, I listened to contemporary music, but I was more of like a Phil Collins guy even back then.
Sure.
Right. So you're like, oh, here's Offspring, and here's Korn, and friggin', Dave Matthews and whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it's just not my scene,
Right.
But you look at the acts that they have, of course, Limp Bizkit and all these guys, and then you got like Alanis Morissette.
Right.
So you got like Alanis playing back to back with Limp Bizkit, and you just sort of say, well, who thought that was a good idea?
Right.
Right, and this is Woodstock, so you say, well, Alanis Morissette seems like more of a fit to Woodstock.
Right.
So basically, it's people who are pissed off because, half the music or a third of the music isn't aimed at them.
So that played into it.
That absolutely played into it. And then you've got, it's basically like these horny, privileged teenagers.
Right.
Who are just, goddamn sociopaths,
Right.
There's a scene where Rosie Perez walks out to introduce a musical act, and just there's this cacophony of "take off your shirt," and it's real, and so you've got
Woodstock.
It's and the documentary does a good job of situating the era in terms of sort of the sexual politics of the time and Girls Gone Wild and things like that. Remember how Girls Gone Wild was a thing?
Yeah. Wow. Even when you say that, it's funny to apply that to that era.
Yes.
And just the way that people, rowdy, drunk crowds might behave.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so this really, it feels almost inevitable that you ended up with people having this very reductive view of women.
Right.
And so, of course, you've got, people who are sort of being egged on into flashing their chests and things like that.
Right.
And then inevitably people are being too handsy and, just, you can imagine,
Right.
And the documentary does a really good job, I think, of weaving you up to, as you alluded to earlier, the just fire,
Yeah.
People just, and it's very. There's a scene early on where you have this group of people who are. Remember, this is very shortly after Columbine.
99. Yeah,
just a few months, right? Because that was like May, I think that was, right.
Something like that, yeah.
So,
I remember it was close to The Matrix.
It would have been, that was April, so this would have been after The Matrix, whenever that was.
Yeah.
So you got these people who are trying to get people who are at the festival to sign a petition to, enact gun control laws. Spoiler alert from the year 2021, didn't work.
Right.
But so they're like, here, we're going to have like a candle lighting ceremony. So please, like, hey, take this candle and come back. And you watch that scene and you're like, all right, well, this is like Chekhov's candle.
Right.
Something's happening there,
Right.
So, of course, the irony is like those very candles were used to basically, summon demons from the pits of hell. As just these.
It's not funny. It's not funny, but it's just,
I mean, you have these like columns of fire. Yeah. It's just absolutely bananas. And so the thought that I have, and maybe this is just inevitable given sort of the age we live in, I'm like, these are like young QAnon. Like, to me, it's that same energy.
That's interesting.
Because those same people 20 years later are the ones who are hanging out on Reddit forums and stuff.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter the era. There was always sort of an entitled, aggressive, something flowing through some people.
What you're saying is so apt. Entitled and aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you so pissed off about?
Isn't that weird? I mean, and you think, I'm trying to understand too, with Woodstock 1, if you can even call it that, it was just like this organic thing, right? I mean, I don't know a ton about it, but it was like-minded people going to see music that they liked, and it turned into a enormous thing. But then it's almost like when you try to do something through like a cynical, maybe cynical is not the right word, but it's not organic. You know what I mean? It's forced.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get everybody, the most amount of people, and it's not organic, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, right. It's, and by the way, I mean, the original Woodstock was rife with its own problems, right?
Yeah.
I think with this, to the point that you're making, the sort of this rampant commercialization. Oh, we gotta charge people for. They were charging like $4 per a bottle of water, which is just insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it now, and in an age where you have cell phones and you have Apple Pay and things like that, you almost feel like a lot of those types of problems would have been avoided.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you've got just a bunch of pissed off teenagers who are in the middle of exorbitant heat.
Mm-hmm.
And just it feels like, well, this is sort of where it was leading up to. But it was illuminating, given that this was something that you and we remember it from when it happened.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it was, in the age before social media, my only awareness of it was whatever was being said in the news. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you think of like Fire Festival, the Twitter conversation was what drove my awareness of it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like, sort of how times
on
have
the
changed.
ground.
Yeah. As it was happening.
Yeah. Versus, I'm sure in my mind, I don't know why I'm thinking of like MTV News or something.
MTV News.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very funny. Yeah. Because you got like Kurt Loder. Remember Kurt Loder?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's basically does everything but like hang on to the bottom of a helicopter as it lifts him out of Saigon City. I mean, that's what it feels like, The way he's, I've never seen anything.
Oh, really? I was gonna, That's so funny. I was gonna say, he was my Cronkite. He told me about Kurt Cobain's passing, and like
those artists back in the day, man. I remember. I was telling Amina, I was like, most of my awareness of these musicians is, I remember when they were on like Loveline, right? Because that's
yeah, right.
Like Limp Bizkit and all them guys. It is very funny how basically they're like, things were getting bad, and then Limp Bizkit showed up. It was just a cherry on top of this shit sundae, But a lot of like Kid Rock and these guys.
Right.
I'm like, man, this is just not my scene. Like that's,
yeah.
Give me Duran.
Yeah, and Duran. I was gonna say, I don't know that I could even list who was there. Like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it was so arbitrary. Right. I think in terms of female recording artists, and the documentary points this out, you got Alanis Morissette, Sheryl Crow, Jewel. That's it.
That feels right. Oh, well, not that that's limited to 3, but I just mean of that era, like Sheryl Crow, Jewel. Yeah.
That seems like who you would invite to a hypothetical Woodstock.
Right.
So bringing in the Offspring, see, Red Hot Chili Peppers seems like not a great fit. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not me. Who am I to say? But fascinating window into a time that feels forever ago, and also, to be honest, doesn't feel like we're even out of it yet. So I don't know.
Right.
Kind of strange. So that's on HBO Max.
I will definitely check that out.
Here's another thing. While we are delving into days of yore, I saw 2 1980s throwbacks. So I saw Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. AKA the movie Brian was definitely not going to see.
I've been very busy, so it was challenging to get to.
I had no expectations.
No, but even if I had more opportunity, I think I still would have leaned more toward old personally.
Makes sense.
But I was trying to think if it had been on HBO Max. Like maybe I would have tried to squeeze it in one evening.
Well, it will be on Paramount Plus in like 5 weeks or whatever it is.
Okay.
Since that's the new reality we live in now, where everybody chooses up their own streamer
Yep.
and just drop their movies on there. And we'll be coming back to that topic in just a second.
Oh.
So this movie opened last week, and to the best of my knowledge, it has already flopped.
Yeah. They were saying it's so funny that anything that happens now in the movies are like the first, or the Anthony Bourdain documentary came out, and they're like the most successful documentary post pandemic. I'm like, yeah, the only documentary post pandemic, you know. And so this one, Old, was number 1, and Snake Eyes was number 2, and they're like the first upset at the box office. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
like,
let's take it easy.
Not everything has to be some sort of like. Yeah.
So this film is an attempt to revive the G.I. Joe movie series, which began and ended like I don't know, when was the last one? 2013.
There's 2, right? And even the second one was a bit of a soft reboot, right?
Right. So the second one was still technically a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
However, they essentially jettisoned everybody. They managed to jettison Channing Tatum and then realized too late that he had become a star in between movie
Right.
1 and movie 2. So, but that was with Dwayne Johnson and Bruce Willis in one of his many phoned in shoot it in a day in my house performances.
I totally forgot he was in that. Yeah.
He's in it, and I can't confirm this 100%, but I'm fairly certain they shot it in his house.
That's hilarious.
They're sitting around a living room table. I think that's Bruce Willis's living room table. You know,
is that? Yeah, there's like pictures of him and Demi in the background, and him and his new wife,
right.
and his kids, and like just.
It feels like they set up a green screen in his backyard.
Yeah.
For anything that involves him, shooting a laser gun or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, that second movie, G.I. Joe Retaliation, I actually liked it quite a bit, and I still do.
Mm.
I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good. Let me rephrase. I think it's a good G.I. Joe movie.
Sure.
So now we have G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, whatever the hell it's called. Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
Okay.
Feels like maybe it's a couple syllables too long, that title. I don't know.
It reminds me of Wolverine Origins.
Yeah, it feels like that kind of marketing speak.
Yeah.
It's a little like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, that type of thing,
Yeah.
We got to get all the SEO in here. And so, the critics have been fairly harsh on this, and I'm not going to, throw garlands at it. I'm just going to say, it's all right.
Yeah. So, okay. So if it's on one evening at like 9:30 at night, could I do worse?
You could do worse, but
is it worth just zoning out to? Is it even worth that?
I don't know if you would get anything out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a G.I. Joe fan, that about me. And so for me, I went in with that, and I truly took my kids. I went to the press screening. I took my older ones, mainly because I wanted their perspectives, because they know G.I. Joe and their kids. So I'm like, they're gonna look at it in a different way. So I was like, when it ended, I was like a tweener. I was like, like I could go either way. And my 12-year-old's like, that was good. And so I was like, okay. So that's why I ended up giving it a lean positive review.
All right, nice.
So Henry Golding in the title role, first of all, the character in the comic books, he's known for being mute. He in the comic books, he suffered a traumatic injury, so he was left facially disfigured, and his vocal cords are damaged, so he can't speak or show his face. Now, obviously, you cast Henry Golding, and he is going to speak, and he will show his face.
Right.
My wife was like, "Oh, who's in it?" And I'm like, "Oh, Henry Golding." "Oh, he's gorgeous." That's what she said, unprompted.
Right.
I was like, "You said that a little too quickly."
Yeah.
But she's not wrong, Brian.
No,
he is a gorgeous man.
On board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think that he's really good in this, and the actor who plays his opposite number, Andrew Koji, who plays Storm Shadow, he's really good. He stars on a show called Warrior, which I think is on. Yes, I think it's on Showtime.
Okay, I know the film.
It is not that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on HBO, I think. No, okay, so it was on Cinemax. Okay, so it's on Cinemax, but you can.
Like
But
HBO Max it.
it's now on HBO Max. So
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm on Wikipedia. It says that it was on Cinemax, but it has moved to HBO Max, so it will continue.
Okay.
And that show is actually very good.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll check it out. I know nothing about it. Obviously.
It's like a martial arts show.
Oh, okay.
So that guy's really good. Golding's really good. You've got a couple of the GI Joe characters in there. So I mean, in terms of sort of laying out the GI Joe world, I'm all about it. Here's my problem: it's directed by Robert Schwentke,
Okay.
who did R.I.P.D. and like a couple of the what are those? What's that YA series with Shailene Woodley? You know what I'm talking about?
Divergent.
Divergent. He did a couple of those movies.
Okay.
I don't know which ones. So his photography of the martial arts sequences is just nonsense.
Right.
Like it's impossible to follow what's going on. And I'm like, guys, you have one job here.
Yeah.
Like this is a movie about ninja action and various martial arts sequences. We got to be able to see that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, if you don't do that, you know.
Yeah, and I always wonder too. I mean, these people work their asses off,
Yeah.
you know, learning that choreography and getting beaten every day on set.
Yeah.
Like, let's see it.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing there. I cannot recommend it to you, Brian.
Okay.
However, those of you listening, if you have some affinity for the G.I. Joe world, you may find a couple things in here you like.
Nice.
I would have said, oh, it'll be cool to see, you know, whatever pieces they set up here in the sequel. But let's be real, there's not going to be a sequel. So it's just this weird one-off of a thing.
Man, why can't they figure out G.I. Joe?
You know,
you said you liked the last one, and I remember not hating it or anything, but like, why isn't it catching on?
Well, I think partly, you know, when you say, oh, it's a group of soldiers, it's difficult to sell that without being sort of jingoistic.
Yeah.
Right. And
also, sorry. I'm hijacking your thought.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, my memory of the cartoon was it was also a little heightened.
Yes.
Right. And if you just make them soldiers, then it's just an army movie.
Right. Correct.
But like because didn't they fire like lasers and stuff?
In the TV show they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I almost wonder if you just sort of do what the show did and like let it be a little nuts, right?
I think that's the approach that they should take is treat it like the X-Men, or something where it's like a team of essentially superheroes. And I don't mean in terms of powers and whatnot, but I mean in terms of sort of treating it as a superhero world.
Mm-hmm.
This is something our friend Paul Shirey said. Like Paramount, if they played their cards right, this could be their Fast and Furious or their MCU.
Sure.
And maybe that's you know, shooting for the moon a little bit, but I don't think he's wrong fundamentally. I mean, when you compare the approach here to like whatever they've done with the Transformers films, say what you will about the Transformers films, I mean, they put the money on screen and those things feel like events. And I think G.I. Joe movies by contrast feel like the B-side, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know that there's any fixing it. You know, I think the older I get, the more I'm like, you know, sometimes it's okay for a thing to just be a thing that existed back then.
Sure.
And maybe that's where G.I. Joe lives. And if that's the case, then so be it.
Right.
I think part of the problem with our pop culture in general these days is the constant reinvention of brands that maybe are just done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think G.I. Joe is over. I think it'll continue to come back in some way, shape, or form. I do think it'll be a while before we see another movie.
Yeah. You know what's interesting when you said it about Fast and Furious? Since Federica and I've been watching them over again, and it's
what are you up to now?
Well, we haven't had a chance to get back to them just yet.
Oh, okay.
But just seeing the first couple, you're like, wow, like they didn't aim to get where they got. Like they started somewhere else and they just evolved into it and embraced it.
Yeah.
You know, and also she got me into Parks and Rec, which I'd never seen before. And I've seen a couple of the later episodes that I know are all beloved. And so she was just saying, we just got to get through season 1.
That's
right.
so funny.
And actually, I when season 1 was over, I was like, I kind of loved that. Like it felt a little more indie.
Yes.
And even like in its sound design, there's a lot more air, like room tone, and it feels more like an independent film almost. And then it gets cleaner and feels more like a sitcom. And I've liked both so far, honestly.
Well, you know, Parks and Rec is like such a good example, right? Because when you watch the early episodes of that show, like the character of Mark, played by Paul Schneider,
yes,
is like one of the main characters.
Yeah.
He's like the Jim Halpert of that show.
Right.
And the further along you get, and this isn't spoiling anything, I mean, Andy Dwyer just, you know, Chris Pratt just becomes sort of this center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get, you know, Adam Scott comes on, and what's his name, Rob Lowe, and you know, the energy just shifts.
Yeah, well, I was even going to reference, well, obviously Andy Dwyer and Chris Pratt, but the Aziz Ansari character,
yeah,
like he's a straight man, pretty much in the first season, and then they're like, oh no, this guy's funny, like let him be funny.
Yeah,
and so then the show, it's fascinating to watch it morph.
Yes,
like knowing that it morphs. You know, and so it's like you're saying, you know, with these movies, it's like it's almost like hard to, or going back to what you were saying about Woodstock 99, like it's hard to force. Well, let's make this the Fast and Furious. Yeah. Like Fast and Furious just became itself.
Right.
Like you couldn't do that on purpose. It just did. And it's like, I don't know how many movies you give a franchise to allow it to do that and still also be on the sidelines willing it into morphing into something awesome. But
and to your point, I mean, I think the problem with the Snake Eyes movie is the promise of, oh, come back next time for the thing that you're waiting for, which a lot of these movies do.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me bananas.
Yeah,
because you know it's sort of like you know, in the 80s when Cannon made the Missing in Action movies,
mm-hmm.
and how by accident they released the second one first, and then they put out the first one and called it a prequel.
Right.
And that was just because the director of the second one was, well, the first one looks like shit, and if that one comes out, they'll never put out this one. So, you know,
right.
But I'm kind of like, you know, studios need to do that more.
Right.
You look at Star Wars, we got episode 4 first because that was the best egress into that universe.
Right.
Like, would the Phantom Menace be as well received? Well, it wasn't well received, but would Phantom Menace have been as well received as episode 4 if that was first?
Right.
And I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
Don't know.
But
we're applying everything we already have to that movie as well.
Right. So I don't know. I hope one day I get to put out a G.I. Joe movie, because I would
love that.
I would treat it with affection.
Yeah.
Here's another 80s throwback I had opportunity to watch. I talked about this last time, but I didn't get to tell you what I thought. He-Man is back, Brian.
Yes.
Masters of the Universe Revelation is on Netflix, and oh boy, fanboys are they be upset, Brian.
I am so I know this is happening, but I literally have not seen one thing, except I saw Kevin Smith being like, you know, kind of in response, and I was like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah. I'm so very tired of of everyone, is what I've decided.
Okay, so I guess I'm not being entirely accurate. Like I read an interview, I think, with someone, maybe Sarah Michelle Gellar or something, and I found out, I touched on why I think some people are having feelings, but I'll just say at the top, because I want to hear mostly what you have to say about this. I loved it as a kid, have never gone back, never even seen the old episodes since. When you say He-Man, it gives me warm fuzzies because it reminds me of being young, but I don't know if they're any good still, and I don't know if continuing it is anything I should be interested in. So I'm very curious what you thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I watched this, you know, about 2 weeks before it came out on Netflix.
Okay.
So separate from all the ridiculously overheated discourse. And so I watched, the 5 episodes. It's a 10-episode season. They split it in 2. So the second half will drop, I think, in the fall. And so I watched it, and I was like, I think this is really well made. I think the animation is beautiful. It looks like what I saw in my head when I was watching the old TV show as a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? And my complaint was that it takes itself too seriously. So I felt like, man, this is like grim, and I'm like, I think Masters of the Universe should be fun a little bit. Like it's, it should take some sense of, well, that's what it was originally, even though this is like aimed at the grown-ups version.
Right.
So so this is before it all comes out. It drops, and then I just start looking at people on Twitter and everything, and I'm like, y'all lost your goddamn minds. And hey, you know what? I am a huge He-Man fan.
Mm-hmm.
Huge He-Man fan. I have the vintage toys. I still have them. I have many of them in original packaging.
Wow.
That's what a big fan I am. I grew up with it. Watching Masters of the Universe in the theater, the Dolph Lundgren movie, was a big deal for me.
Yep.
Huge fan. So I'm all about like treating it seriously, but I'm also like, guys, y'all grown-ups, like, geez Louise,
Right.
People like Kevin Smith ruined He-Man and this and that. So let me give a broad sense of what happens. So we start out with sort of like the last adventure of He-Man.
Okay.
So think of it like, you may not remember the movie that well, but like the beginning of The Mask of Zorro.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, this is the last time like Anthony Hopkins is Zorro and everybody saw him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like that. And so something happens, and He-Man and Skeletor are missing, and Castle Grayskull is gone, and like all of magic has left Eternium.
Okay.
So now we cut to however many years later, and what's her name? Tila has like left the palace, and she's become like this mercenary, and basically she finds out like there's a way to bring He-Man back, so she embarks on this quest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm keeping it relatively spoiler free, so I'm just like, all right, well, this is doing this thing, right? And so I think a lot of the complaints are like, oh, why are you focusing so much on Tila? That's a big complaint.
Sure.
And it's like, well, because she's like one of the main characters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was there from the jump with all of them, right? And then you've got, so remember, we have like 5 episodes, and then it's going to come back. So we have a cliffhanger. This is not a spoiler. We have a cliffhanger where Tila's embarked on this quest, and she has found He-Man, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But cliffhanger, He-Man is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I'm somebody who has read comic books all my life. And I say this is like every comic book where you're like, oh my God, Spider-Man is dead. What happens next month? Oh, he's not dead. He's alive. That's me. Yeah. So I watched that, and I'm like, okay, well, we got to come back and see how He-Man isn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I don't think that's an insane reaction on my part.
Right.
So it didn't even occur to me that people online would be like, Kevin Smith killed off He-Man. How dare he? I'm like, what are you, 6? What's the matter with you?
Right.
Like, you think they're going to kill off He-Man? The whole toy line is built around him. What are you, nuts? So I'm more upset at people taking this seriously,
right,
than anything in the show.
Right.
Because I'm like, look, it's a toy line that inspired all of this. It's a thing about toys. So when you're on the internet talking about, cultural vandals and all this other stuff, I'm like, you're talking about a franchise based on a toy.
Yeah.
It's just toys, Brian. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I love it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So people are very upset.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of the same freaking thing happening every single time there's a new thing based on an old thing.
People not liking
just
what
new
people do to it.
People with all their weird like ideological hang-ups, mm-hmm. and all, and it's like, the thing that you liked is still there. It's exactly the way you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always there for you. I mean, with Snake Eyes, right? The movie ended, and my thought was, well, like, this is different than the thing that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is still there.
Right.
And I can go back to those comic books and read them whenever I want. This is a new way. And hey, I hope the generation that it's aimed at likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the overheated reaction is really silly. Now, that said, I think Netflix also played themselves a little bit, because they hyped this up as being sort of the sequel to that old 80s show. And I'm like, well, it isn't that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's its own thing.
Right.
That's, it uses some of the same visual touchstones, but the 80s show was its own thing, right?
Right.
So in other words, this is not, I don't know, The Force Awakens or something,
Yeah. No, I get it. Similarly, I've all year I've been looking forward to. There's going to be that Batman '89 comic,
Right.
that's coming out in August, and I'm like, I can't wait to see one of my favorite iterations of Batman back. However, this is some people imagining what will happen next. We'll get to finally see Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent as Two-Face.
Right.
Like, I'm very excited. However, like, I'm not thinking this is some sort of magical link to that first movie.
Yeah.
And if it's not great, which it very well could not be great,
Yeah.
it's not going to, like, what have you done?
Yeah.
No, it's someone's shooting their shot, and I hope it's great.
I mean, this is, since the 1980s He-Man, there have been different iterations, right? I mean, I don't think you can look at the Dolph Lundgren movie and be like, oh, this is just like the old cartoon.
Right.
But you're like, but it's He-Man, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, this is an interpretation. After the original toy line ended, they brought it back as like a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's not, and that was meant to be like a sequel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you're like, well, that's not very good. And then, they rebooted it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. This is what they do with this stuff. It just gets rebooted. And for me, it's just the overheated rage that people have. I don't get it, because these are all people who are roughly in our age range.
Right.
And I'm like, don't you all got stuff to like that matters more than this,
Yeah.
Like, for me, if I don't like a thing in pop culture, I just stop thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think. I was trying to actually be a little fair and consider, like, yeah, there have been things I haven't liked. I mean, there was a moment where, like, I really was frustrated about Crystal Skull. Right. And, like, I was genuinely frustrated, but it didn't become my personality. You know what I mean? It didn't become like what I talked about at the dinner table every night. And, like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's okay to not like a thing, but it's when it becomes almost obsessive and you become possessive of the thing. And
I wonder if another problem is how so much of the conversation is driven by not only social media, but things like, YouTube personalities. And, rage is what drives clicks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's in their interest to gin up people being pissed off.
Yeah. And act more invested and upset than they really are.
Right.
Because that's what's going to make you watch.
Right. And I'm like, you know what? It's a freaking He-Man cartoon. Like, if you don't like it, watch the other thing,
Right.
My daughter, she likes the She-Ra TV show.
Yeah.
So she kind of knows the universe from that, but she ended up watching this new show with me. And she's like 100% on board. And I don't know if she's like the exact audience for it.
No.
But I saw her the other day. She was in my kids' room. She's playing with their vintage He-Man toys.
That is awesome.
So I'm like, all right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
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 People got to relax, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's like people like that make it harder to not like things too. Like,
yeah,
it reminds me of Ghostbusters Answer the Call or whatever. I was like, I didn't really like it, but like, then you got all these like crazy people liking it for all these insane reasons, and you're like, well, I'm not like them. I just didn't really care for it. I
mean, this is my problem with this new He-Man show. I'm like, well, I do have some issues with it.
Yeah.
But you're terrified to say anything.
Right.
Because yeah, exactly what you're saying. You get lumped in with that.
Yeah.
You know? The Ghostbusters is another example because guess what? People been complaining for 5 years. Oh, they should have made a sequel. They should have made a sequel. Guess what? They got a new sequel coming out. You think they will stop, Brian?
No. Yeah, I know.
They'll never stop. The latest, I mean, it was interesting looking at some of the discussion over the last few days of people really strenuously arguing that Ghostbusters is not a comedy.
What?
And like grown-ups arguing that it's not a comedy.
Right.
And they're like, no, it's an adventure movie.
Yeah.
Like if you say comedy, you mean like Beverly Hills Ninja. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that fall under the realm of comedy, but how can you not know? How can you be a grown-up and not know Ghostbusters is a comedy? Of course it's a comedy.
Right.
Like I can see being a kid. Like when I was a kid, I didn't think of it as a comedy.
Yes.
Because I was just like, no, it's like scary ghosts and guys with laser guns.
Right.
And then as you watch it, as you get older, you're like, oh, it's funny. This man has no dick. That's funny. That's what I heard. That's funny.
Yeah. And that's what was so genius about it was that they, it included real adventure elements.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, that's sort of why Ghostbusters continues to play is because kids watch it at that age where they just take it at face value.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're able to go back to it and be like, oh, this is really funny.
Right.
You know? But I just feel like all this stuff is wasted on these people. Seriously. I don't know.
Well, I mean, as long as you brought it up, what did you think of the new Ghostbusters trailer?
I mean, I want to see the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like that it's situated within the world of those earlier movies, and that's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Tonally, it doesn't really evoke those earlier films.
That's what I'm curious. It feels almost Spielberg-y.
Yeah.
And which I think it's safe to say Ghostbusters isn't. And I'm wondering if watching the actual movie, it's going to feel more like a comedy. Like especially seeing Paul Rudd burst out of that Walmart and these little marshmallow men and stuff like that. So I almost wonder if they're trying to make it feel Stranger Things-y.
I'm very curious how much of a role the original Ghostbusters have in it.
Right.
Right. Because the trailer that we saw teases Dan Aykroyd at the very end there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, are they priming us to be like, don't expect much?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or is it meant to be a big surprise in the movie where you sort of think it's about these kids and then the OG Ghostbusters show up?
Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of cool for like a third act thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm definitely like, I'll take it as it comes, you know, and I think I can't remember what we said about the 2016 Ghostbusters, but I don't recall either of us hating it.
No, it was just whatevs.
Yeah, right.
I think it leaned too much into the improv. Also, was my memory. Like, it felt like they let them say whatever they wanted, and that's totally great. That's what you let brilliant comedians.
It was too much of the Judd Apatow style.
Yes, but when you leave it all in, is when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, what I said. I don't know if I said this on the show, but I'm sure I did. What I didn't like is how the characters acted as if they were all characters in a comedy movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, and you have what's his name, the sidekick on the Tonight Show. What's his name?
Current. The current Tonight Show.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's. You know what I'm talking about? The guy with the glasses, Steve something?
Oh, yeah. He's like an SNL guy, right?
Yeah, what the hell's his name?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's in the movie, and he plays like the dean of the school that Melissa McCarthy teaches at.
Right.
And he does this whole thing where he's like flipping her the bird, and he's tuning it like it's a radio.
Right.
But it's just him giving her the middle finger. And I'm like, you know, that's like a funny thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But in a movie like this, it takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Because it makes me take the stakes less seriously.
Yeah.
So it does feel like maybe Paul Feig was not the right guy to he didn't have the right approach.
Yeah, like I remember like being amused while I was watching it, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there was a whole thing with Chris Hemsworth where he's like I want oh now I remember. He's like, "Oh, I want to bring my cat."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, that's like, that's your cat. Yeah, my cat's name is Mike Hat or something. Like it was this really sort of, you get like, it's an improv Curb Your Enthusiasm type thing.
Yeah.
But you're like, normal people don't talk like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't even remember that, but yeah.
There was a bit. There was like this extended riff where he's like, yeah, my cat's name is Mike Hat. Mike Hat.
Right.
That, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't, what? You know? And Chris Hemsworth's a funny guy, so you laugh.
Yeah, I remember him being like capable in that movie too for what they wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's take a short break. We'll come back. We got some listener letters.
All right.
All right, we got some listener letters here, Brian.
All right.
So here's one. This is a comment that Carlos Bello left for us on our Facebook page.
Okay.
And this is in reference to our Jurassic Park 3 commentary.
Oh, recent.
This is hot off the presses.
Yeah.
I think my favorite commentaries are the ones where you guys talk through movies with good premises, but that ultimately fail to deliver. Examples include this movie, some of the Star Wars prequels, RoboCop 2, Indy 4, etc. I like hearing you guys workshop the movie in real time and come up with better stories.
Oh man, I really appreciate that.
That's
You're
really nice.
very good at that, by the way. I think sometimes I'll have like a good nugget or something, but you always do really well with that.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Thank you. And I want to say that we certainly don't set out
right
to be like with the arrogance of, oh, we're gonna
right.
Let's step aside, Sonny. We're gonna show you how to do this, right? That we would never presume that. It's just something that sort of emerges in our conversations.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. It's yeah, like you say. I mean, something happens and it's kind of like, wouldn't that be interesting if, you know, it just
like,
kind of,
how about this?
Yeah.
Like with RoboCop 2, as I recall, at least for the last third, I think you had not seen it.
I gave up.
You're like, Zachy, I will let you talk about this. I will be drinking from this juice box for the next 15 minutes. I'm like, well, Brian has his high C. There's Peter Weller doing this thing. Yeah, it's this is, you know, I sometimes get emails like, oh, you know, I want you to do commentaries on more commentaries on bad movies.
Mm.
And I genuinely, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to go into a movie like, this is a bad movie that we're going to sit here and like make fun of.
Yeah. I don't enjoy riffing.
Right.
It's not that I don't enjoy listening to it sometimes, like, how did this get made? But yeah,
I just don't think that's us.
Our thing.
That's not our thing. So when we end up, like, even, God, you know, Godzilla, the 1998 Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
That was a weird one where we ended up kind of having like a grudging respect for that movie.
Yeah.
On the other side of it.
Yeah.
That movie wore us down.
Yeah. Well, 'cause, I mean, you there's no immediacy to it anymore. It doesn't have to be a great movie right now. It's just this thing. It was made 20 some years ago, and then you look at it and you're like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a little bit like Waterworld when we did our commentary for that.
Yeah, which, by the way, because I'd seen once, had no memory of it, and then came away really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And now looks like it's gonna be a series.
It's gonna be like on Peacock, I think they're saying.
Okay. I just saw that it's coming together.
They're doing a series that's a sequel to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
like 20 years later, right?
Yeah.
From the film.
So here's Mariner. He's a little bit pudgy.
Mm-hmm.
Retained a lot of water because it is a world of water.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming no Kevin Costner.
I was wondering.
Well, Kevin Costner is busy starring on a hit TV show.
Right, Yellowstone,
yeah. Which, like, that's a weird show to me because it's very successful, but like nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
that's my take on it too.
It's a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
They're even doing a spinoff, but nobody talks about it. And so I'm like, are we post zeitgeist when it comes to hit TV shows now?
Maybe.
Right? Like, because now, you know, it's not even like, you know, like post network, you had like your Breaking Bad and your Mad Men.
Mm-hmm.
They were on people, even Walking Dead really driving the conversation. Well, now you got this, which is like one of the biggest shows on cable.
Mm-hmm.
And I defy you. Find me, 8 people who even know what it is.
Yeah. Actually, we were just talking about this off mic, but with the Tomorrow War, I was asking you if you had seen it. And Nielsen ratings said that it had been streamed over 1 billion minutes is the way they're measuring it. And so it was a huge hit. And I was like, I haven't seen it. I don't really know anyone who's seen it. And I'm not disparaging it because I'd actually like to see it at some point. But it's so weird because that was a successful summer film.
Right.
But like, you can imagine a good number of people in your life have not seen it and will probably never see it.
Yeah.
But it was a huge hit. And so it's getting so segmented now.
I don't like it, Brian.
I mean, I like that it can afford the opportunity for more things that may appeal more directly to me, and that they have a different metric of success, so I can still get that thing. But yeah, I miss the thing that's a part of everyone's conversation. You know
I blame?
Who?
Kevin Smith. And Ryan Johnson. Let's just throw him in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I see it. I mean, man, Brian, I've been teaching long enough. I've seen this play out.
You've had a front row seat, yeah.
I really like just the way pop culture has gotten more and more fragmented.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching on CNN. They have this history of the sitcom.
Oh,
so what? Just like the history of late night, that wrapped up, and then they started doing
me up,
right?
That sounds so up my alley. Yeah,
you got a new thing to just and they talk about like what a big deal Cheers was, or like Mary Tyler Moore, or whatever, and I mean there was a sense of like the culture is connecting through this, right? And when you come to now. And I'm trying to look at it from all sides, right? Because I think there is definitely something to be said about how much more representation there is now.
Yep.
For groups that would otherwise have gone completely overlooked. Mm-hmm. I just before we got on, I saw like a Hulu ad for Love. I think Love Victor. Right. Which is
the Love Simon. What was that called?
I think Love Simon was the movie.
The film. Yeah. So this is like a series. Yeah.
Right. And I was watching that, just the trailer for that, and I was like, I can't imagine that show would have aired, 25 years ago.
Right. And if it had to stand next to Cheers, or Seinfeld or something, probably wouldn't get the same sort of numbers. So it'd be like, well, cancel it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now here you've got a venue for that type of content and for people to feel represented. So that's great. Mm-hmm. But it's always, there's a double edge, right? Which is like there was something of value in how people came together and experienced these things at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, do I sound like a grumpy grandpa?
No, it's funny because I'm sort of divided where I do have a wistfulness for that because there is something nice about everybody being in on something together.
Right.
But again, I'm like, I don't feel any need to stop it. Like you say, there's a lot of benefits to it, and I'm just more an interested observer of it happening.
Right. Yeah, it's every semester without exception, because I'll be talking about MASH or Cheers or whatever, and without fail, there's at least one student who'll email and be like, "Oh, I started watching MASH on your recommendation. Oh, I just love it."
Oh, wow.
And I always I'm like, because most of these kids today have no idea what MASH is.
I could see that. I mean, or even it doesn't get referenced anymore. Not
as much,
right?
And so when you say, well, here is the TV episode that remains the highest rated of all time. I mean, that's important, Mm-hmm. And I'm always like, it's on Hulu if you've got it. It's this great show, and I'm glad that people who are discovering it, they do find value in it.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, same thing,
Yeah. And it's nice when people, I'm thinking like of movies I'm thinking more of, but like when in recent memory, the movie Sorcerer,
right.
the truck with wet dynamite movie, I'd never heard of it in my life. And then there's a campaign to like remaster it or something. And so I saw one article about it and I saw it and I was like, where's this movie been? I love this. And so it's one of those things where you think maybe stuff will get lost, like MASH or whatever. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have honestly thought to have recommended it to someone younger, but it's just really cool that these things, as people who have some sort of relationship with them, share it with others. I mean, they do live on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, actually, our next letter kind of delves into another one of these sort of forgotten movies. This is from James Reed, who emailed us, and he says, just finished listening to your Jurassic Park 3 commentary, which, as usual, I really enjoyed. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
I missed the movie completely the first time around and only watched it when I bought a box set of the 3 films. See, that's why it lives on, Brian.
Yeah.
You got to get it with the other one. See, it's
That's
brilliant.
That's right.
I did find it ultimately a bit unsatisfying, but loved some of the ideas, which I think that's basically where you landed.
That's
right?
about where I was, yep.
At least some of them were, I think, still being extracted from the original novel, which is much richer than the movie. I like all of Michael Crichton's books. Anyway, I was also interested in your mention of Mystery Men.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember us mentioning.
Oh, yeah, I do. I don't remember why.
Oh, well, probably William H. Macy.
Yeah, that might be, yeah.
Right? Because he was the shoveler.
That's right.
He shovels, Brian. That's I have a long-term relationship with this movie. When DVDs first came out, they were pretty expensive. So if I ever came across any cheap, I would buy them just to expand the collection. Didn't you used to do that? I did that all the time.
I totally, yep. Something would be like $9.99. You're like, well, all right.
That's why everybody had analyzed this at one point.
Yes. Well, for me, that is so specific and so accurate. I think for me, when I bought my DVD player, it came with 5 DVDs, and one of them was Analyze This, and another one was Fools Rush In.
Yeah.
The Salma Hayek
Matthew Perry, right?
movie. Yeah. Which I ended up watching, and I was like, well, that's cute.
Lost in Space. That was another one.
Yep.
Anyway, so he says, see, I'm glad that that's an experience that so many people have. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Hence, I bought Mystery Men, and for a while, it was half of my entire collection. And I watched it a lot, including all the extras. I really liked what they were trying to do, and for me, the best scene is towards the start of the film when they're auditioning other superheroes, and you get a quick-fire montage of various, including the Waffler and the PMS Avenger, who only works 3 days a month.
Right.
Unfortunately, they seemed so interested in the characters, they basically forgot the story, and the villains are rather two-dimensional, and their motivation pretty unclear. I feel like James is describing like a third of the MCU movies. He'd be like, is this Mystery Men or Age of Ultron?
Dude, that's hilarious.
It looks great, though, and some of the ideas, e.g. Captain Amazing, being sponsored by various companies, are prescient and would now be quite an interesting commentary on the MCU.
Yeah.
The director, Kinka Usher, man, that name just uncorked something.
Really?
Because I remember that name being like, well, that's an interesting name.
Oh, that's funny.
Never made another movie.
Wow.
I think his background was commercials, which seems a shame, but I don't think he had a great experience making it. I would love to hear a commentary on this to get your thoughts, and I think you'd find more in it to like than you might expect. Thanks as always for the podcast, which I always look forward to. So, Mystery Men. I don't remember a thing about Mystery Men. Except that William H. Macy was the shoveler.
I do, actually. I remember, what's his name? Simpsons. I'm brain fart.
Hank Azaria. He's a gypsy,
Raja,
right?
or something.
Yeah, the Blue Raja.
Yeah, and he has like forks and things between his fists. And I remember Paul Rubens was in it when I was really excited about that, but he ends up playing this like really gross character, and I was like, I don't want to see him anymore.
The spleen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know about the commentary. We'll get to that. I'm definitely interested in revisiting it and at least talking about it for a bit. Like my memory, wait, where's that in the email? There was something he said that I was I really liked what they were trying to do. I agree with that. That's my memory of it. Like, but I wasn't so sure I liked the actual execution, but I appreciated what they were going for. That's my memory.
I do think, so by the way, I have a very specific experience with this movie, which was opening night. My friends and I, and including Paul Scheider, by the way, we all went to see it at the AMC, the Cantera.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the Cantera, right?
Yeah.
And it was sold out.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, oh, man, this is before reserving seats.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, I guess let's just go see this other thing that's not sold out that opened that night, and that was The Sixth Sense.
Ah, wow.
So The Sixth Sense was what we watched because we couldn't get into Mystery Men.
Wow.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that is funny.
So talk about the perfect way to experience that movie.
Yeah, completely unassuming. And,
Yeah, no expectations.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching Mystery Men, I think, like a week later.
Mm.
But I do think it came out probably 20 years too early.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because all the stuff it's doing in terms of lampooning superhero tropes and stuff, that just would work better now because so much of that stuff has just been absorbed into the bloodstream.
Much like Unbreakable.
Unbreakable's another one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I think back then I remember seeing it with a friend who was really mad when it was over. And some people are like, wait, that's a comic book movie? Like, what? But it's so serious. And you can only imagine now that everybody's so immersed in it, they'd be like, brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes what I know and it challenges me.
And then he made the Unbreakable sequel that everybody hated.
Yeah. That was such a shame.
Dude,
such a shame.
What a disappointment.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mystery Men, I'm actually, honestly, I haven't even thought about it very much, but like James's letter makes me want to revisit it. I
am curious. Like maybe sometime the next couple weeks we can take a look and see if we have anything.
I was setting more of like, in the next 6 to 8 years.
Well, I'll get I mean, you know what I mean.
I'll get to it when I get to it, James. Mr. Angry. No, it's Mr. Furious.
Mr. Furious.
Mr. Furious. Yeah. That's pretty funny. That his superpower is he just gets angry.
Yeah.
But he has no like powers.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just remember I'm the shoveler. I shovel.
That's pretty good. You do remember it.
I just remember that from the trailer.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another break. Thank you, James, and thank you, Carlos, for that. And we'll come back, talk some headlines. So we're back, and hey, there's I don't want to play the sound for this, but I was just curious. Did you see the trailer for King Richard?
No.
AKA Will Smith's Oscar clip, 2021?
That's what I'm sort of hearing. Yeah, I have not been able to watch this.
So this is about Richard Williams.
Yeah.
Who is the father of Venus and Serena.
Right.
Now, it feels very novel to me to situate the movie around the dad as opposed to the daughters who are more well known.
I've basically been seeing articles framed like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have not seen it. So
this is not a new observation on my part. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's obviously a keen one that everyone is. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. It's funny because he's taking his daughters and he's like training them and he's like holding them and he's like, listen, one day every black girl in the world is going to look at you for inspiration. And like that day, I took my daughter to her swim lesson. She's like, Dad, I don't want to swim anymore. I'm like, okay.
You just pick her up out of the water and walk away with all the other kids still.
That's why the movie about me is going to be Peasant Zachy.
Yeah, right.
Very different.
Right. That's hilarious.
She's like, I'm like, honey, you got to put your face under the water. She's like, I don't want to. I'm like, okay. I'm like, honey, you got to lean back and do the backstroke. I don't want to. Okay. That's just me. We paid ahead. We put my daughter in like 3 sessions for swimming. She has made very clear she's not having any of it.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to go in the pool and I'm just going to fart around and do whatever I feel like. And you're going to pay for it, old man. And that's been me for the last several weeks.
I remember dreading swim lessons. Like they were scary.
She loves getting in the pool. She just doesn't want to be directed or instructed.
Okay. Yeah, for me it was like I had a fear that I couldn't do it or something.
I mean, she doesn't want to put her face under the water.
Yeah, but my memory's kind of similar. Like I remember being in the pool and like I liked the pool. But it was like, okay, now go move your arms like this and then you'll be on the other end of the pool. I was like, I don't know. You're putting a lot of pressure on me here.
Here's the problem, okay? Because now with like the COVID stuff and whatever, like the swim lessons, used to be you drop her off and she does the thing and then
right.
But now I got to get in the pool with her.
Oh, interesting.
So now it is a commitment of my time, and that's fine.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, I
Related to COVID, like that you have to be in the pool.
Like, in other words, yeah, it's kind of bullshit, Brian. What the hell? Now I'm getting pissed off. Basically,
this is good material for the movie.
Yeah. Peasant Zacky, first draft.
One man said no.
So basically, they want to, rather than have the instructor like with each kid, they want the parent with their kid.
Okay.
Doing the stuff with their kid, and the instructor's just telling them what to do.
Is the instructor in the pool?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm not sure this works really. What I do know is it's like a time commitment for me, which again, I want to be clear, is entirely fine if she's doing any of what's expected.
Right.
But it's basically me getting in the pool for, an hour a day, getting frustrated.
Right.
And what I also learned, by the way, Brian, is don't drink chai like an hour before you have a swim lesson.
Yeah.
Because you will spend every 5th minute hurrying to the bathroom. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So that was also good to know. So that's the other source of frustration. I don't get my morning chai.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had your chai.
Yeah.
And I would not want to go without.
I know. It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
King Richard.
Yes. So anyway, that movie looks like another Will Smith tearjerker performance. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Okay. Like Pursuit of Happiness. I remember liking that movie actually.
Will Smith had a run of like tearjerker movies.
Oh, 7 Pounds. Remember that?
That one was more desperate than most.
Well, yeah, actually, right? I should clarify what my was. It was more like, yeah, that movie is a little sweaty.
That was like Oscar, gimme. That's what should be the title.
Yeah.
Speaking of being all right, this is good news. Bob Odenkirk is going to be all right.
Yes. That was quite a scare there for a minute.
I got to say, for as much as I complain about the internet, and I will continue to do so, the one thing that brought me such joy, that warmed the cockles of my heart, Brian, was when word first broke that Bob Odenkirk had collapsed and been taken to the hospital. Just the collective goodwill of seemingly the entire world wanting desperately for Bob Odenkirk to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's loved, but it was an outpouring that I did not expect. It
was a good, 36 hours or something where we didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then his son, Nate Odenkirk, tweets, he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And it's like the control room at the end of Apollo 13.
Yes.
The entire internet just exploded.
Yeah.
You hear James Horner's music playing at that moment. Right? But yeah, he's busy filming the final season of Better Call Saul. Having just experienced his rebirth as an action hero.
That's right, yeah.
In a movie that I don't think you have yet seen, right?
No, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
You must watch Nobody.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like everything's sort of going his way, and then to get this news that he did in fact suffer a mild heart attack, really scary.
Yeah, and he himself has finally tweeted.
That's right.
And it was very nice because he, saying he was surrounded by friends and family, and that he was really touched by the outpouring of love. Like he got to see all that and respond to that, and his quote was, "It's overwhelming, but I feel the love, and it means so much." And that's nice to know that you put it out there, and in this world where we can do that, and it's received, and that's that he can feel that from his bed. I'm sure
that's
so
right. That's exactly right.
It's very nice.
I saw a tweet here from David Cross, who, of course, for those of you who don't know, but David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, they did Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, just got off the phone with Bob, and he's doing great, joking and japing and joshing. Both he and his family are overwhelmed with the outpouring of love and concern everyone has shown. You will be hearing from him soon, but he's doing really well. And, of course, that preceded Odenkirk's tweet. But the other thought I had, I was like, man, I'm glad that Bob and Dave still get along.
I was thinking that, too. They seem obviously very close still.
I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's, he has his autobiography coming out in a couple weeks. Remember, I sent you a picture of that, and I was like, man, how many people have like pre-ordered that now?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have nothing but love for Bob Odenkirk.
Absolutely. Yeah. He did a great interview recently with Conan O'Brien on his podcast, and he just a jovial, funny guy, but also, I mean, I don't think I knew the extent of his history in comedy and all the things in SNL and all this stuff. I mean, he's always been there,
Yeah, first time I saw him was on the Ben Stiller show.
Same.
Yeah, and so I had to reset my brain to be like, oh wow, the Breaking Bad guy is the guy from Ben Stiller,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because he's so seamlessly made that switch. Actually, he's in a sketch in I Think You Should Leave in the new season.
Oh man, I still haven't been able to get to that yet.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do, but I loved season 1. So
I Think You Should Leave. For those of you who don't know, it's a sketch show on Netflix, created by Tim Robinson, and that is so our humor. I mean, it like I kid you not, like,
yeah.
Because I was just watching the new season, and they're literally like one or two sketches. I'm like, man, I bet Brian would crack up at this one. Like, literally, that's my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So he's in one of the sketches in the new season. It's very funny.
Okay.
Anyway, other news. This is less good news, Brian.
Oh.
Bob Odenkirk's heart is healing, but you know whose heart is breaking?
No.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. ScarJo.
ScarJo is suing Disney.
Yep.
As a result of Black Widow having been released on Disney Plus,
mm-hmm.
Via their premium service in addition to in theaters. She is saying that as a result of being on streaming, it cut down on the amount of money the movie would have made theatrically. Therefore, certain performance benchmarks weren't met, and she is not getting paid, and that's not good.
Yeah, she stands to lose possibly $50 million over this.
Yes.
So
I was... Yeah, no, go ahead.
No. Actually, I'm curious what you're going to say.
Well, I was sort of monitoring the discussion, and what I saw a lot of, which I found a little bit perplexing, is she's already rich. Why does she need more? Which is some shit right there.
Yeah, I was shocked.
What do they got? Nelson Muntz as their attorney? Like,
well, it was such an easy thing for her side to come back against. Like, really?
It's so odd.
You're gonna go that, and they did. By the way, I don't have that in front of me, but this morning, her team has replied and been like, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's I want to be very clear. I'm not pro or anti any corporation.
Yeah, same.
Right. So when I see people reflexively defend corporations, I find that odd.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems pretty clear cut to me in that if her contract stipulated something and what was stipulated in the contract was not met, then it seems pretty clear to me she's got a case. And if, again, I have a hard time with, oh, she's already rich, why does she want more? I'm like, look, if you know what you're worth, you get what you're worth.
Yeah, well, and it sounds cliche, but it's the principle, And,
yeah.
Right? Like, and again, I'm not for or against anybody here. Like, it's just what are the facts? And it reminds me, I think you and I were texting about this. It reminds me of the writer's strike in 2007.
Yeah, right.
Where writers were like, well, look, there's this whole internet stuff going on now, and that has not been worked out, and we need to be compensated. Like, the shows we wrote are now on all sorts of different mediums.
Right.
That we didn't even know about when we signed certain contracts, and we have to figure out how to, get paid for this stuff. And so it was like a new frontier, right? And so I think this is the next frontier to figure out. And I think what she's trying to figure out absolutely makes sense. Like, the contract she made for Black Widow did not relate to the world we live in now. Right?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean, this is going to be, I think, like a precedent setter, honestly.
I have a feeling. I mean, just from what I'm seeing online, it looks like Emma Stone and Emily Blunt are now potentially considering their own legal action.
Really?
In which case, yeah, if the company in changing their release plans didn't make sure to clear it with the talent,
mm-hmm.
That seems like a very easily avoidable oversight, right?
Right. And I think it was even, I'm no expert on this, but just reading some Deadline article, I think there was even language about having an exclusive theatrical release, right? And then, of course, the world changed and things, and that's fine, right?
Because the Disney
adapt,
statement was like, "There's a pandemic. How rude and insensitive to the people who've died."
Right.
And it's like, you guys could not wait to reopen Disneyland. What are you talking about?
Right.
So that type of stuff. Again, I'm like, as you said, I think you said it really. Look, ultimately, it's about the principle. It's not about any corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if this is what the piece of paper says, it's not about it being ScarJo. It's about Joe Blow, who doesn't have the clout that she does, who needs to be able to believe what's written on a piece of paper.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's how it is, Brian.
That's the way.
That's how it is. And I don't care if you don't want to swim. You put your face in the water. King Zaki coming next year. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap this up. What do you say?
Yeah, man, we got a blast.
We covered a lot of ground. We laughed, we cried, we learned something, and it's about
so.
friends we
You had a
made
whole
along the
arc.
way.
You're like now cheering on your daughter to become a championship swimmer.
as she beats the best time, and I'm standing in the corner nodding like Mr. Miyagi.
Yep.
Credits. All right. Well, hey, guess what? We'll be back next week talking about. Well, no, we're going to be doing our commentary track for Captain America: The First Avenger.
Oh, I gotta watch that. I'm excited.
That's going to be our program for next week, and then in our next regular show, we'll be talking about The Suicide Squad.
I'm ready for that.
I'm feeling it, Brian.
I'm feeling it. I want to go on like an action-packed, comedic, raucous adventure.
Well, already reviews are quite effusive, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we'll see. Rotten Tomatoes. This is apparently made news as being the first new release of the year to launch with 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow,
that's kind of until Armand White's review drops. Right, we can assume he'll pee in the pool.
Right,
that I will not be in.
Yes, that's right.
Because I pee in the bathroom to get out of the pool. That said, hey, we got lots of fun stuff coming up, so please keep your questions and comments coming. We appreciate everything that you say, and if you have anything you would like us to discuss, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and hit us up there. As always, please go to iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, and leave a review of the show there. If you like what we're doing, leave a star rating or type a small paragraph, extolling our praises. That'd be nice. I would appreciate that. I'm sure Brian would too.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you would like to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at Zaki's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my website, justadded.com. And of course, you can find my writing at the San Francisco Chronicle and also at IGN. Brian, what about you? Anything you want to hype up?
Yeah, Puppy Dog Pals. Big stuff going down. Engagements. Love is in the air. Puppy Dog Pals, which you can watch at Disney Plus, Disney Channel, and Disney Junior.
There we go. That wraps up episode 228 of the Movie Film Show. My name is Zaki Hassan on behalf of my partner Brian Hall. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zaki